leash handling, a little more about the techniques in actually how to do it. First, I'm going to start with the do nots. Do not allow nose-to-nose combat. Whether there's a gate, whether it's two dogs present, there will never be nose-to-nose combat. So two dogs are not allowed to be sniffing each other, whether it's through their kennels, through the fences. We really try and reduce that as much as possible. Gentle sniffing still escalates often very quickly. So what started out as being, we thought, decent interaction.
Doesn't it only take them 3 seconds to size a dog up by themselves?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's better to just go no nose to nose. Plus we don't need sneezing on each other and all of that kind of stuff, right? Okay, do not. I have discussed this and it has come to the agreement that we will not be attaching dogs' leashes to kennels. It just puts too many things at risk. You have to quickly run out for whatever reason. You are freaking them out with a hose and the spray and the barking dogs and the vulnerability of being locked in, tied up, restricted. Leash intimidation, you've all heard of that. It's when you walk a dog and they're terrible on leash when they're passing by another dog, but yet they can have dogs and play with dogs all the time. They're friendly. Because it's that feeling of restriction that creates this. So we don't want them attached to the kennels while you're cleaning. And we're going to go ahead with putting them out in the squares, that little first section. It's going to make it super fast for cleanup. It's going to make it prevent any issues of dog to dog. We'll get to that with volunteers and so forth, but that's going to be a requested expectation of everybody.
Does everybody know what she means by the small square?
Sorry, the small square, the first cubby hole.
The second you walk outside into either of the kennels, there's a small.
Take them out.
Yeah, it's against
strays,
the,
right?
this is something that I didn't mention to you, but it's against the SPCA shelter guidelines to spray the hose while the animal is in the kennel. And I know we've been doing that for a long time. That's the way that I was taught.
I've never sprayed.
Even if they're behind, no, but even if they're behind you, if you're at the very front and they're in the back, not allowed to spray it. So they have to be removed from the kennel.
I do that with some of them that climb on me. But I interact with them while I'm doing it.
Yeah, can't hold small dogs and spray. You can't.
Well, it is the hose that is a very, regardless of your intent, it is a very corrective measure. Hoses have been used to stop dogs from fighting and things like that. I'm not saying that's what we've done. I'm saying that's how valuable it is as a correction. So we don't realize the little trauma that goes on day in, day out by spraying them while they're immediately present. So we'll leave that one as is. Please do not, and I've seen everybody, so this isn't one person, hold your leash high. It's called hanging. It's an old technique. And when you hold the leash high, you generally hit the trach because you're never fully straight up. You're on this slight backwards straight up angle, and that just hits this area perfectly, which is wrong. And this is why we hear some of our bigger dogs that we have a hard time maneuvering and they go flying. This is why I say you want to get to the end of the lead, because your goal is to have slack at all times. If you have to hold that dog tight, meaning short to you, you have to hold him on a 90-degree sideways or downward action. If you hold it up and backwards, you are clotheslining. Everybody know that phrase from sports? And that it's wrong, it's an illegal action in sports to clothesline a dude. That's what a lot of this leash handling does. We tend to pull right on the most vulnerable area. If y'all just lightly touched your throat, you'll feel it. You put double, triple, quadruple the pressure on the side, and it feels awesome. Oh, yeah, get the muscle knot right there. But but you put just a portion of that pressure here, and you're going to cause a dog to choke him. So it's really bad handling. And as the public watches us, let's say, sometimes maneuver dogs, and we're holding up like this, and the dog's basically running on his tiptoes, we're really demonstrating a poor handling technique. And we want to be in the future. We don't want to be in prehistoric. So really try to remember it's more of a sideways hold than it is straight up. Just think straight up is hanging. It's like bad, bad, bad. So sideways, you'll generally eat. Okay. Remember that pulling also causes resistance. So as you're pulling the lead, the dog's naturally going to resist. It's just the way it goes. I push, you resist. It's natural. So it's so hard for people to get into the habit of this, but we call feeding it the lead. So we're basically always trying to give the dog the lead. Now, yeah, there's going to be a lot of dogs that are going to take that lead and I'm off, right? But if you've got that little sideways, you can at least direct them. We call this a U-turn or a 90-degree turn. If I'm pulling sideways, all the pressure of the collar happens here. My other leg, front leg, goes off balance, and you turn the dog. And you can turn Prince, our big, strong, black shepherd cross thing, because all of us on one leg don't have the same balance and strength that we'll have on all two or all four. So all you have to do is that 90-degree turn in order to move them. So the dog starts running down the kennel. All you have to do is angle it. You don't have to run up beside him and try and angle it. You just have to angle it, and you'll put more pressure here and turn him, and you'll have complete control of a very strong dog. Okay? So it's your 90-degree or it's your downward sideways kind of pulling that if you have to do any moving of the animal, you're trying to always turn him, not clothesline. Right? Okay.